Welcome back to Senior Savvy Cannabis. Today, we're joined by John Casali of Huckleberry Hill Farm. If you guys haven't heard of John, you should know him. Besides his award winning weed, I wanted to ask John about his philosophy and history with this plant. John, can you tell me about your mom and why you do what you do?
Yeah, thank you, Catherine, for having me on today. It was always about my mom, and my mom really initiated my relationship with this plant and all kinds of plants. She was known around the area, especially in Humboldt County, as having a green thumb, and that included growing tomato plants, and it included growing fruit trees, and also included growing cannabis. And um, it was really a struggle as a young boy at 10 years old to convince my mom that it was okay that I interacted with something that was illegal. But she really taught me um, during my lifetime that this cannabis plant had a lot to offer, not only medicinal wise, but also community wise, right? I grew up in a community that I didn't know one person that didn't grow cannabis. So to really fit in, it was the thing to do. And it's really enhanced my life in so many different ways and brought me together with so many different people like yourself, like minded. And it's just been an amazing journey. And yeah, so.
I love it. You don't hear a ton of family stories, especially ones as unique as that. So thank you for sharing that with us. It really sounds like you honor your mom's memory in everything you do.
Yeah, long story short, after my mom first initially at the age of 15 decided she'd allow me to grow my first 10 plants, which she convinced herself was okay by putting some parameters around it, like you can't use this money for fun, had to go to a college education or something valuable for the future. And um, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with challenging myself every day that this plant and these different cultivars respond to different things. And there was no replacing an SOP, which you hear all the time now, the standing operating procedure. Everybody that calls me and talks to me wants to know, "Oh, well, what do you pour in the tank on Wednesday?" And I was taught from an early age, you have to build a relationship with these plants, which sounds really weird. I know, I get it. And each different plant or each different cultivar is a different thing. It requires different feeding regimen. It requires different attention, different amounts of water. And, I learned a lot over 50 years of growing this plant. And I learned the certain cultivars that we grow here, what they like and what they respond to for this certain area and this certain terroir, and built a relationship with the plants. And unfortunately, throughout my journey, when I got a little bit older and I had some bumps in the road, my mom passed away. And when I decided to go legal, which really, because of my past, enabled me to continue growing this plant, I wanted to build this farm, and I wanted to, excuse me, I wanted it to I wanted it to make a difference. I wanted it to be something special, and I wanted it to honor my mother, who really taught me everything I knew about this plant. And so every plant that we grow here today is bred to a plant that I used to grow with my mom when I was 10. And that plant back then was called Fruit Loops. And now we call it Paradise Punch. So these award-winning cultivars like the White Thorn Rose and the Paradise Rose that we grow here are the original Fruit Loops or the original Paradise Punch crossed with different other cultivars like Lemon OG and um, Amalfi and different stuff like that in my mother's honor. And to see them now winning these awards in the world and getting to show the world what we've been doing in secrecy for the last 40 years is just such an honor. And I'm hoping I'm doing her proud. Um, and that's my goal, is to share the small farmers, journey with the world where this multi-billion-dollar industry was really created.
I love it. I this is
Sorry, it gets kind of emotional every time.
I probably should
This,
have warned you that I was gonna. I'm sorry I didn't give you a heads up, but you like I can. You seem like such a good person, and like it's because you were raised well. It's obvious. You do this. You don't do it for the money. Like you don't even do it for esteem and ego. You do it to honor your mom.
I do it to honor my mom, and I do it for the people that, for the first time in my life, get to experience what we've been doing for the last 40 years. And it's been an emotional roller coaster, just like life is in general, right? And I always have believed that we individually can all make a difference in one another's life. And it really saddens me today to see kind of where we've evolved to, because I think we've gotten away from being just nice and kind to one another, just to be nice and kind to one another. And we all have the ability to put a smile on each other's face. And as my mom passed away at the age of 50, I realized at the age of 58 that every single day really truly matters. And what I'm doing today, I want to be present in. And my time away from home in jail for this plant really made me appreciate the smaller things in life. And being here with you today means more than anything. And so I really thank you for sharing me with yourself and with your listeners.
Thank you, John. It's an honor, and I just want to give you a hug and come hang out with you, and you can put me to work on your farm. Um,
Okay.
so let me ask you something else. I mean, this conversation is just so phenomenal. It's the first one of this kind, and I'm just so honored that you would share this with me. Um, there's no need to talk about how terribly the industry is doing with these mass produced indoor cannabis conglomerates. We know that we're all looking for local farmers to work with. How is how's a listener somewhere in California supposed to get your flower and be able to get it consistently once a month whenever they need it? Just because the convenience, people are paying for the convenience of the dispensary, and we'd rather take extra steps to get actual flower that has been loved and cared for and not sprayed with pesticides.
Gotcha. And that I wish that was an easier question to answer. I am one of the smallest farms in the state of California. And so our product usually doesn't last throughout the year. So it's kind of always about limited batches. And and it's kind of similar to most of the small farmers in the Emerald Triangle. We have a limited amount of product, and we get it to the retailers, and when it's gone until the following year. We grow one crop on this farm. It's one outdoor full season crop, where other farms do grow light dep is what they call it, and they get two harvests a year. But it's just myself and my girlfriend Rose that really take care of all the plants and do all the things here. And so even at 5,000 square feet, it's really a lot to tackle and to do it right. Um, our product, we distribute, the state of California makes us distribute through a distributor. And so I have Redwood Roots, who was a local kid around here that I grew up with, has a distributing company, and he does distribute throughout California, all the way from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state, in various different location and retail partners. I'm also working with the company iPoppy in my green network, who focus solely on the concentrate, the hash world of this plant, which it's been winning all these awards, and they're up and down the state also. So it's best to really DM the individual farmers if you're on Instagram or LinkedIn or those things, and we can direct you directly to a local retail shop. And you really touched on one of the most important things. What you'll hear from the small craft sun-grown farmer in the Emerald Triangle, you'll never hear any one of us say that we grow the best weed and what we're growing is going to make you feel amazing. Because what you've come to learn is what makes me feel good might not make you feel good. And so the consumer really, truthfully needs to do the work, right? You need to discover what terpene and what cannabinoid profile makes you feel amazing. The THC, we won't even go into that. It's so overrated. It's so blown out. I've seen plenty of 16% THC with an amazing terpene profile that can make you feel amazing. And what I'm hoping your listeners are trying to achieve is not to get high so much as to feel amazing and to better their life in a certain way and relieve whatever ailments they might be feeling. So it might not always be our product from our farm that makes you feel amazing, but knowing your farmer is the single most important thing that your consumer can do. Like if you if you know Moon Maid Farms or if you know Happy Day Farms and you get to know who those people are inside and that they're out on their farm taking care of the plant that you're about to ingest into your body and that they're doing it in a regenerative, healthy way, you got to assume that that product's going to make you feel amazing. And I have no beef with indoor growers. You know, there's going to be all kinds of people in the industry that have maybe a lesser or a different type grade product. And I think that your consumers really will enjoy and experience something truly different than what the industry conglomerates have been pushing on them when they smoke the sun-grown craft farmers from the Emerald Triangle. So that's about as far as I'll push it. But knowing your farmer is truly the most important thing.
Amazing. And you wouldn't be bothered if our listeners started to DM you.
Oh, absolutely not. I spend most of my time. I get up at 4:30 in the morning having my coffee, and I do what I do because of your listeners. I do. It's the first time in my life that I've gotten to share something that I've done for 40 decades. And it's really just an honor to, whether or not I'm receiving an award or recognition for what we've done. We've always been in hiding, right? We've never been able to share with the world what we've done. So this whole sharing and being in retail shops and talking to consumers about growing cannabis and it's new to us, but it's something that we really enjoy. And there's no stupid question. I love to answer every question. I interact with 20 or 30 people every single morning over coffee or walking through the garden. And it's really the reason why we do what we do.
That sense of community, even when it's online, it's real. And it's what, a lot of us need right now. So thank you for meeting everyone where you're meeting them. Um, I just want to go live on your farm. I think I had other
It's,
questions. Yeah, can I come just bring like a tent?
can
I
I
just
stand up and just so you can see
can
kind
I
of what
see?
we're
My,
maybe I don't. I mean, it's organized differently. It's not row crop. They're
wow.
individual plants and boxes, and we want it to be beautiful. I do have one of the only tourism license in the state of California, or excuse me, in Humboldt County. And I'm very fortunate to be able to take people and share stories of the small farmer. And so we want it to be as beautiful as possible. Um,
Do you mean people can like pay a small fee and spend a couple hours on your farm?
or they can just stop by. I hate that money thing, right? You know, if the timing's right, it's the hardest part for us is really juggling the time. It's just like I said, Rose and I. So I watered this morning already so I could be on your show. It took me 5 hours, and I do have drippers, but
Wow.
I like to water each plant individually because some are downhill from me and they get more water, so they each need a little bit less. And by giving them the TLC that they need, I just found that comes out a little bit better than just the SOP.
What would you tell to maybe a home grower who is growing their first or second or third crop and like they're having fun with it, they're sharing their pictures. Would you have any advice to give to them?
Yeah, I think when you purchase seeds, we all have different seed sites at tangledroots.com. Me and a few other local farmers sell our genetics there. But I think it's really important and you'll look around, you can't see it now, but all the plants have name tags on them. This one you're looking at right now, you can barely see it, but that's a name tag for Woody Harrelson, who came to the farm last year.
No way.
But I think you need to name your plants, right? Naming your plants makes them it personal, right? And those plants are really counting on you to survive. And there's no other feeling. And I would rather people not buy my weed. I would rather them grow their own, because there's something that happens when you start a seed and you put it in the ground, and that plant's really relying on you to survive, and you grow it throughout its cycle, and then you have to harvest it, which is always hard, and you cut it down and you dry it, you cure it, you trim it, and then you're sitting at some concert with your really good friend, and you look over and you see the big smile on their face because you just shared something that you created with them, and you're relieving them of life's biggest worry sometimes. It's really emotional, and it's a really powerful thing, that knowing that you're the one that created that, and you grow one time, you grow your own, and you're addicted forever. Um, so I always encourage people to grow their own.
Amazing. I'm going to start to talk more about this on the blog, give people tips on how to get started. It's not as hard as it looks. It's different when you're growing really good weed, but to get anyone can get started. Um,
Yeah, and then your consumers or your listeners need to know is, I've been growing for 50 years. I've had so many crops and so many plants that have died. That's how we get better, right? Everything doesn't always work out, but you learn from those experiences. And so stick with it. Feel free to ask any of the small farmers questions that you have along the way. Like, why is it wilting? Why is it drooping? Why is it yellow? We love to participate like that. That's where we get fun. That's our funnest part right there.
um, I love it. I hope this is like a long-term relationship and this is just our first conversation of many.
You know what the next step is, right?
Can I come visit you? What's the next step?
Absolutely. That's where I was going.
Really?
Yeah, you have to set your feet on the farm
I
to
know.
really feel the magic.
What strikes me also is that I think one of the things that ails us as modern humans is that, like, we're inside, we're not moving, we're not getting sunlight, we're not seeing things that are green, our feet aren't touching the ground. Like, the process of growing weed outside, it sounds like the therapy. It sounds like the applying of the wisdom that we've all been reading, but until you put down the book and actually get your hands dirty, I don't think you really get it. So this idea of growing weed as, I don't want to turn anyone off by saying a spiritual practice, because I don't think it's spiritual in the spiritual sense, but in a ego shrinking sense, in a community building sense. It seems like a very holy practice.
Yeah, there are some things that we do here that we believe in that are kind of outside of my what I would normally do. But my girlfriend's very much into sound healing and vibrations, and really a firm believer in that different frequencies and different vibrations can affect the plant and us as humans. And so part of the tour that we give is she does a 10 to 15-minute little sound bath at the top of the property. And it's just an amazing tour. It's an amazing um, understanding of the small craft sun-grown farmer, and why we care so much. I mean, people, it's all about the money. We could care less about the money. Yeah, we have to make a living, but this is more fun, really caring about one another.
You're the second person in 2 days that have mentioned the sound frequencies. Um, and I don't know if you ever saw that documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know? Kind of about like quantum physics and how to apply it to our lives. There was a big part on how frequencies affect us as humans, affect plants around us. I don't think it's too out there. So it's amazing to see just the evolution of something so ancient, bringing it into modern times and going from there. John, this has been an absolute pleasure. I hope you're not like turned off that I'm like nerding out so much. I had no idea you were going to be so fabulous, but I really just want to hang out with you and give you a hug.
I
So,
know, it's a thought. Your excitement makes me believe that maybe you'll show up to the farm one day, and I can really, have a few hours with you, and we can really explore the magic of the Emerald Triangle.